Hello and welcome. I'm Emerald Mosaic and it's time to paint again. So I have been learning a little bit about the transparency of paint. And so here I am doing a little bit of a test of some of my paints to see how transparent or opaque they are. Now, something to note is that this was done with diluted paints. This was done with undiluted paint. So in this test, each paint was first diluted with water and then diluted with titanium white. And whether they end up, like this brown, you can see it's rather transparent because one is diluted with water, you can see through. This deep blue is not transparent because when it's diluted, you still see a boatload of blue and it's very bright. Same with these two yellows. This acrylic yellow is rather opaque. I would say semi-opaque. You can see a tiny bit of the white underneath, but it is pretty bright. Whereas this metallic yellow, you can see a lot of that white underneath compared to the original. And then also when they're diluted with white, the acrylic yellow, yeah, it's a pale yellow, but it's pretty solid color. Whereas this metallic yellow, it looks really kind of washed out. So anyway, that's for normal paints, but we work with fluid art. These are diluted. And so I've been watching some other videos and they talk about the difference. And so I decided to do my own tests. There are a lot of brands I can find online, but a lot of the cheap craft paint which I mostly use is craft paint, especially like the acrylic brand is craft paint. Color Pour, which again has gone out of business. You can't find this anywhere. I got lucky. But I don't know. I'm not sure where it would fall on quality. I don't think it's that great quality. It's nowhere near Liquitex Basics, which I have that cadmium red that I use. So this is a blend of a whole bunch of different, a couple different brands and a whole bunch of different colors trying to get, I ended up with a pretty dark, I don't know, indigo. So you can see this one is rather opaque. You can just barely see that black line. All I did is I took a Sharpie and I made a nice thick line in the middle of this column and I painted over. And so you can see these are really transparent. And I only did one coat. I didn't have time to let it dry into a second coat. I will be doing a second coat after this just to make absolutely sure. But I can already see that, oh wow, these are pretty transparent. These are semi-transparent. This one is semi-opaque. Like it's mostly opaque, but you can still see a little bit of that black line, so it's semi-opaque. So I know from this video that I watched, which I will link in the description, that if you put two very transparent colors right next to each other, they're going to make each other darker. The resulting color will be much darker. Whereas if you alternate between the opaque and the transparent, then the whatever transparent color is on top of the opaque, you'll see that difference in color, but it won't be as dark as if you put two transparents right next to each other. So given that I'm doing a painting with 4 colors, I'm going to be alternating them in such a way as to get transparent, opaque, transparent, opaque. So that is my goal. Now, the other thing I'm doing is an open cup pour. I did the one with the pear-shaped cookie cutter. It was okay, but there's a specific thing that I want to try with this one. I'm going to leave more negative space with this, so I'm going to start in a corner and I'm going to work, if I can, keep it down. I'm going to work my way down, turning it as I go, and leave the other 2 corners kind of white space and see what happens. I saw another painting that was done by a professional it was amazing. I really wish that he had stopped at a different point, used a whole lot of less paint, stopped at a different point, and not covered the entire canvas, because it looked gorgeous up until he did that. What can you do? So anyways, what I've done, so I've got my Saks Titanium White, which is going to be my base. Now you can see I have 5 ounces in here with an 8x10 canvas. Normally I would use 4 ounces, but I'm going to reserve 1 ounce for later. So the first ounce is going to be to cover the canvas. Now I'll have, and I measured out in these little bottles, which I'll take the caps off in a minute. I have Color Pour Light Pink. I have this blend of colors. Let's see, Color Pour Indigo, Light Pink, and Violet. Wait, Acrylic Violet, plus Cadmium Red and Acrylic Deep Blue, plus Acrylic Phthalo Blue and Acrylic Pink, and I got this lovely, very dark purple-ish indigo. Then I have Acrylic Cobalt Blue and Color Pour Metallic Silver, because I like a little bit of shiny. What can I say? So I'm going to go ahead and open these just to make it easier to pour, so I don't have painted hands trying to do that later. Let's get those ready. Okay, and this is the order I'm going to do them in. I'm going to start with the pink, purple, blue, and silver. But first, my white. Okay, so I gotta make sure to leave at least 1 ounce. I'm probably not even going to use that much yet. The goal here is just to cover the canvas, make sure that the edges and the corners are covered. So the paint, because paint goes where paint has been, right? So just making sure that it gets covered. I see a lot of people use craft knives and whatnot, you know, for this, which is fine if you don't want to get your hands dirty. I love getting paint on my hands, therefore I use my fingers. It is all in your personal preference. There is no right or wrong way to do that. Which is the great thing about this. You can do it however you like, right? As long as you accomplish the goal. There are some things where the method matters as much as the means, and there are other things where it really doesn't. Knowing the difference is important. Okay, a little bit more over here. Come on. There it goes. That should be about good. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this, I'm trying to decide if it'll be easier to pull it down or push it up. I think I might push it up. I think that might be easier. We'll see. I could be wrong. Let me put it right about, well, I mean, there we go. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of white around it. Gotta make sure that I don't go inside it. That would defeat the purpose. Okay, that's plenty. Okay, and now I'm going to start layering my colors in here. So the whole goal of an open cup pour is that the paint that is in here leaks out underneath. That's why I added the extra paint around. And I'm just going to go ahead and start, well, not quite yet, not quite enough in there. I'll do a little bit of each and then add some white. That puts a little bit more pressure. And a little bit more silver than that, just a little bit. There we go. Now just a little bit of white. I can see it starting to seep out the sides, so I'm going to add a little bit of white to put some more pressure on it. And now I'm going to start turning it, and by lifting it up on the sides, on that end, that creates this swirl effect. Now I'm going to add some more paint. Lift and swirl. The nice thing is you have a place that catches all your drips. That is pretty. Some more white. I lifted it up more than I intended, but it'll be okay. And then a little bit more silver. And I'm just going to use this to drag that extra inside there off of the edge. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, let me go ahead and torch it. That's pretty already, and I am going to stretch it a little bit. I'm going to get off the corner a little bit. Let me just pull this off down here. There we go. Now it'll go. There we go. And then bring it back. And over this way a little bit. That way a little bit. And back down. Oh, that's so pretty. I want to widen it just a little bit on either side. And keep bringing it back. I like this. I don't normally leave that much negative space, but you know, it's good to stretch, to do something different. It almost looks like an ocean wave. Oh, that's so pretty. Bring it up a little bit higher, and then over this way a little bit. I'm seeing such pretty cells in here. I don't want to mess with it anymore. That is a lot more negative space than I would ever leave. I'm tempted to stretch it out even more, but I don't want to ruin it. I really don't want to mess with it. I think it's just about perfect. I love this little edge right here. That is something actually that I could do, is add a little bit of flare. Let's see, let me bring this up. I'm gonna drag this out just a little bit. Requisite cat hair. It's not an emerald mosaic painting if a cat hair doesn't get into it, right? That feels better. That feels a lot better. And how do I want to do this? Have a nudge of an idea. How do I want to do it? Oh, I haven't used my straw in a while. Oh, I like this. Oh, I love this. That gives it such an organic feel, like a tree. Like twisted limbs. Oh, I love this. I'm knocking things over here. Ooh, I love that shading underneath. Ooh, yes. It just gives it that little something more that I was wanting. Okay, all right. Just, it opens it up just that little bit, which is what I wanted. There we go. That's what I wanted. And that kind of dips into the negative space without ruining the negative space. It's not a harsh, defined line. That looks like an old twisted tree trunk. In pastel. In blue and purple and pink. I love this. Oh my goodness. This turned out so much better than I thought it would. Let me torch it a little bit more. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Let me bring the camera around so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, start with a top-down view, and then we'll bring it in closer. There's all these pretty little cells. I'm gonna zoom in right here. Just the way it mixed with the white, right there, where my finger is, that is just so pretty. And all those pretty little cells through there. Let me bring it back out a little bit. Yes, this is just gorgeous. And then on up through the middle. Yeah, that smoky appearance over here, right there. Oh, that's just, yeah. And then here, kind of like how there's this divider in the middle like that. I think that's neat. And then we have this little line through here. It almost looks like the lines of a tree trunk combined with an ocean wave. And this up here. All those pretty cells. And then way up here we got these rings. And it almost looks like there's a tiny patch of green that I don't know how that happened. Yeah, I love this. I think that turned out gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I am so happy with that. All right. Tell me what you think. Is there anything you would have done differently, or what do you think about the little branches I put along this side, you know? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope you had fun. I sure did, and I hope this inspires you to get some paint out and put some on the canvas. Y'all have a great day and stay creative.